dog day is an open adjusting day.
How's he been doing since we saw him last time?
When the dogs that come in to see us anytime, and especially on dog day, are about as varied as any dog you'd see when you go to the dog park.
She still has days like today when allergens are really high and I can feel that my allergies are bothering me. It seems like those are her bad eye days.
Yeah, we kind of, I think, are you still using the antibiotic with the eye bright? We're both veterinarians, so we both went to veterinary school. We are licensed in 9 states, and we could do surgery, we could prescribe medications, we can even euthanize if we have to, because we have drug licenses that are approved by the FDA, but what we choose to do is animal chiropractic. So we use our hands as our biggest tool, and we find that that's the most effective. You ready to go shake? I'm gonna put her down, okay? Make sure she doesn't run for the door.
And you know, we can adjust these guys, but they won't hold their adjustment if their toenails are too long.
Toenail trimming is brain surgery. I know, people think, what? But those toenails tell the body how to read the environment in space. So what they do is when the dog touches the ground, if the toenails are touching the ground, they're also sending a signal to the brain. And they're telling that brain that the dog's not standing up straight, so the dog can't stand up straight. It makes the muscles in the legs that extend the legs relax a little bit. So now the dog has to use the flexing muscles or the running muscles to stand up. Well, they're not meant to do that for a long period of time, and so the dog becomes weak. That kind of weakness can drive all kinds of things. It can make them hypothyroid, it can make them depressed, it can make them painful, and for one thing, it makes them fatigued. So you've got this animal and you want to go out and do some sport with them, or you just want him to play in the backyard, and he's tired before he starts.
We run the gamut of all the way from these dogs that just have a minor subluxation that's causing them some, maybe inconvenience when they walk. They're not able to walk the whole distance, or they're not able to compete at the level that the owner would like them to compete at. 2 dogs that are totally paralyzed and have, you know, some definite health issues because of their subluxations. Hey, how are you? I'm Dr. O.
I'm Judy.
All right, nice to meet you, Judy.
Nice to meet you.
So this is Dr. Amy.
Hi.
And this is
Matthew, and this is Harley.
Harley.
Yeah.
And so when they got there, you know, it was kind of a mystery dog to us. We didn't know what the breed was going to be. We just knew that it was a dog that was paralyzed in the back end, and that she'd seen a lot of other doctors and heard horrible, so, you know, the story was horrible. The prognosis was going to be either surgery or death.
I watched him. He hit the ground, he yipped. A day and a half later, this is what's left.
Okay.
You know, we're there to save dogs. We're not there to tell them. And of course, as veterinarians, one of the first things we're going to do is tell them if there's something else going on. We're going to let them know that, you know, there may be something worse here than what we anticipated.
You know, he can't stand up, but sometimes that's a sign of weakness.
Right.
And sometimes it's a sign of I can't feel things.
And every day.
Now his
I have been standing like this for like 25 minutes.
Okay, good.
Just like this. To kind of
his tail's working. That's good.
yeah.
That tells us that he has sensation back there.
And yeah, you touch the paws of his feet, his whole leg will jerk.
So, but he doesn't right that leg.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where his foot is in space, is what we're saying.
So, and then we'll do that with his other leg. And he doesn't know where that one is either. So, and then we'll try that with his front legs.
You see, I tried trimming his toenails.
And see,
like
he knows that. So
Yeah, these
when we
toenails
put
are-
these, he puts them right. So let's do that again. So the front legs, see, he knows where his front feet are. He won't let me even hardly put it down.
But you know what, this is, if you watch, when Dr. O goes to turn that foot, he is moving that neck an awful lot. So what that tells me is that he's got issues in his neck.
That's what
As
he
well?
told me. Because remember, Dr. O, you said you looked at the x-rays?
So look at his back legs and see how they're a different length.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then when she turns the head, now they're the same length.
Oh.
All right,
And
now we're
when
going to
we
go the other way.
way,
And the other way is going to be tough.
and it gets shorter. And the one thing that we do with these paralyzed dogs is that we check their leg length. We check leg length because we know that if the leg length is uneven and when we turn the head it changes, that we have an upper cervical subluxation. And every nerve in the body goes through this joint right here at the base of the skull. And so if that nerve is impinged on, then it impinges on the rest of the whole body gets affected. The reason that we see the leg length change is that it's also, the whole nervous system is surrounded by what we call the dura mater. Okay? And so imagine if every time that you looked over that way, so if I looked over that way, my legs changed. And if I looked over this way, okay, that's what his legs do.
So this dura mater's messed up around where
Right
it's connected.
here, right here where it's connected. So this bone right here isn't moving correctly. And if we feel right behind his head, okay, his bone sits in there like that.
So you can feel it's not sitting right?
Well, and
We like to think that we do have, we do give people hope that but we don't like to think of us as a last resort. And it's not a false hope. We have numbers to back it up. We're about 98% successful in getting these paralyzed dogs to walk that have a subluxation causing their paralyzation. And usually within 1 or 2 visits, we'll be able to tell if there's some improvement, if we should continue the course of treatment, or if there's something else we should do.
He's my boy. I'm not gonna lie to you, at first when he did this, he wasn't walking, it ripped my heart out. I almost put him down because I couldn't go within myself and be selfish enough to keep him around for me.
I understand.
I didn't think it was fair to him, but if he's got a shot, I'll do it. But yeah,
But with that dog in particular, we realized that we think we can do it a lot of help.
I lost a dog like that before, and it ripped my heart out, and I held that dog in my arms till the last breath went out of its body. And I cried. I cried for damn near an hour.
You know, we're gonna look at a couple other dachshunds today that were that way too. So we've got some video from 2006 when this dog was paralyzed and he was dragging his feet and not moving, or she was. And we adjusted it 3 or 4 times, no drugs, and the dog's doing great.
I mean, you think your only alternative really is you're going to have to put your dog down because there's no quality of life. And it was just devastating. And my mom, who's also had a dachshund that had the same issue that Dr. O brought her back, you know, said you got to get out here. And like I said, it was just life-changing for our family. You're just devastated when you see your dog like that.
You know, there is a school in our...
And I think that might be sometimes why people don't believe it. I think it almost sounds like it's just too good to be true. But it's amazing. I've seen it 3 times now. Once with my mom's dog and twice with mine.
We see this, we've fixed these before. We know that we're going to make a positive impact on this dog. You know, so when these owners come in and think, oh, I'm going to have to put this dog down or it's going to be paralyzed the rest of its life, we can't always give them the exact time and date that the dog's going to stand up and run. But we can definitely tell that this dog's going to walk. He's going to walk sometime in the next week or sometime in the next month, but he's probably going to get up and walk.
So
when we've got these animals that come to us and they've been everywhere else and they're on a steroid and an antibiotic and an ointment and a this and a that, it's way more important to find out what they're eating every single day and to make sure that it's the right proteins, the right amino acids, all of the right chemicals that they need to be a dog. She has a hard time making food that's made to sit on the shelf for a long, long time and not rot in her stomach.
That makes sense, yeah.
So if we were to feed her a food that is closer to the original pieces that already has the enzymes in it.
we recommend raw food for these dogs For the same reason that, you know, more and more humans are going to raw food and more natural food, it's because dry food, kibble, is overprocessed, overcooked, and some of the nutritional value is lost. You know, we see dogs all the time that are having issues, and we just switch them to raw food, and it's amazing what happens to their overall health and vitality.
We really recommend a diet called BARF, Biologically Appropriate Raw Food. We like it because it has a funny name, but we also like it because it's really convenient. It's really clean meat. It's got organ meats in it as well, which dogs absolutely need because the amino acids in organ meat are different than the amino acids in muscle meat. It's got bone ground in, so they're getting perfect nutrition. They're getting it in a convenient manner. It's easy for the owner, just as easy as kibble, and everybody gets healthier. Absolutely everybody gets healthier on it.
All right.
At the end of every dog day, we're seeing more and more improvements. You know, we see behavior improvements as well. We see these animals that when they first came in were really fearful because they were really sore, and after they've come back 2 or 3 times, they're like happy to come in the house, and we're their best friend, and they come and say hi and all those kinds of things. And so, I mean, it's a great feel at the end of the day that you've done. You know, we love it when we can say, oh, we saw 40 dogs tonight and they all went home feeling better.